Hello, wrestling fans. Welcome to the second edition of We Can't Wrestle Live. Nate and Kyle here with you. Kyle, how's it going out there? Kyle was mentioning to me he's a little hungover tonight.
A little bit. I'm all right, though. This will be fun. This is going to be a fun show.
Yes, it is.
Say hello to the fat guy.
Or what the one listener last time said that you look like the Blue Meanie.
Yeah, I'll take it.
But somebody said I look like Seth MacFarlane. I don't see that at all.
I don't either. But what are you going to do?
What are you going to do? Lots to talk about on this live We Can't Wrestle show. We got an hour. We're going to do it like we did last week. We hit it. And we also have coming up the drawing. Thank you to everybody that subscribed to the YouTube page during the contest. I will draw for one of these great prizes that I have down here in just a little bit. But before we do all that, I would like to say that thank you all for your patience with the podcast. Thank you all for your patience with We Can't Wrestle Live and the We Can't Wrestle original podcast. As my dad just had open heart surgery the past week or so, I want to let everybody know he's doing good. Doctor says he's right where he needs to be. The old man made it through, just like we knew he would. So thank you all for your support. Thank you for your patience, and thank you for all the well wishes I got. It's greatly appreciated.
Yeah, your dad's a tough man. He's a good man. He's a fighter.
He is, and like you said, if he's going to do it big. Go with the quadruple bypass.
I was like, Jesus, man. If God, it's like he doesn't go small on anything, does it?
Not at all. Not at all. We will also during the show tonight. Like I said, we'll have the drawing. Wanted to give that thank you to everybody. So we'll start. Let's just get it started. The week that was WrestleMania season started, and the Royal Rumble. Yes, the Royal Rumble. I liked the Royal Rumble this year.
You know, everything about the Rumble was pretty good. I mean, it had some low points in it, but I mean, as far as I wasn't real big on the Becky Lynch match, wasn't really big on,
Mm-hmm.
Then again, it's like how can you really give them time to do anything when you got two giant rumbles?
Right. Chris Wood's out there. He says, "What's up, guys?" Hey, Chris Wood.
How we doing, Chris?
I agree. The card itself, okay. I'm not. We got Sheamus and Shorty G. We got Andrade and Humberto Carrillo, who's very good, by the way. But we started off. I got to take a shit. Like right off the bat, I got to take a shit at this pay-per-view because I got Roman Reigns, Baron Corbin, and you know how much I hate Baron Corbin. I'm kidding. I watched the match. I did watch the match. They
got it done and out of the way.
Yeah, they got it done in 21 minutes, which was way too long, but they got it done. It was reminiscent to me of the old walking brawls from the Attitude Era, and I have to say it wasn't absolutely terrible. The match wasn't terrible. I'm not a hater of Roman. Now that Roman is where he should be on the card, don't hate him. But that Corbin guy, can't do it. I just can't do it.
I mean, it is what it is. That's their live show aspect of it. Is that for those fans in attendance, that chance for Roman to come out in the crowd and do what they need to do. And we've had this conversation a million times that Baron does what he does.
Yes,
he's there to get his ass kicked, and that's it.
And yeah, and I mean, it is what it is. I'm not going to be influencing anybody at the WWE anytime soon, so I'm sure he's going to be on my TV for many moons to come, and that's fine, whatever. I don't have to watch it, because I don't watch it, other than the pay-per-views, I don't watch it live anyway, so I can just fast forward through Baron Corbin. The Women's Rumble. Okay, there's a lot to pick apart here. Beth Phoenix, I thought did great. Yes. At first, when I first saw, I didn't notice her head bleeding, and then I saw blood on Charlotte's face, so I thought Charlotte was bleeding. And
right. I was the same way. And then there's something about that blonde hair mixed with that red. It just... Who would have fucking thought the blood and wrestling match would get you over?
Who'd have thunk it? Who'd have thunk it? I just want to read this comment from Chris Wood real quick. My biggest issue is what I brought up before. I don't think this format is going to work much longer. They're sitting on a male roster of 115, not including any of the 205 exclusive guys or NXT UK. There is absolutely no reason to have anyone doing double duty. You're right, Chris. You're right. I think that you could easily have taken Roman and Baron and to that have a cruiserweight championship match or something, to start the show. So I agree with that also. They're at WCW level as far as staffing goes at this point with as many wrestlers as they have under contract. My biggest thing, and I know we're getting off topic here, but Chris, I don't like the cross-germination of the main roster in NXT. I don't like the NXT people being brought into main roster stuff because as time goes on, NXT not only now is on cable TV, but you're throwing them into the main pay-per-views, and it's making NXT less special, I guess, is my biggest thing.
I think the problem is like, I'm fine with like Royal Rumble and stuff if it's that the winner gets a shot at anything, because you can't do an NXT Rumble. Then you're gonna have 3 fucking Rumbles.
That's the whole pay-per-view.
You'd have to have fucking 4, because then you'd have to have the women's NXT, and then you'd have to have...
When does it stop?
Exactly. So I mean,
we're gonna have a 15-man Evolve Rumble.
Yeah, I'm fine here and there, but I'm right with you. Like, unless they're getting called up, you really don't need them. Like, that's the thing. Like, they did great with the Survivor Series on NXT and stuff. You gave them the fucking push. Now, let them go back down and do it. As Chris was saying, they have how many people on the roster? Send some of those guys down to NXT.
Right.
And I hate to say let them go, but let them go where they can go to fucking NWA, or they can go to... It's almost like they have them under contract just to have them.
Just so AEW or somebody else can't have them.
Just
yes.
Have them, yeah.
Yeah. And you're right. The Women's Rumble, getting back to that, which was our topic. I know I'm jumping to the end, and we can work backwards if we have to, but I'm not a big fan of... Now, I didn't want Shayna to win, and here's why. It's the same thing I was saying before. I don't want NXT crossing over with the main roster. I can't see, if you didn't do the permissions from StreamYard, I can't see who is saying cheers mate, but cheers mate. That might be Maddock. Maybe he's from Australia, but anyway,
Maddock?
No, not that guy. I didn't want Shayna to win, but I didn't want fucking Charlotte to win. And we can say a lot of things about the match, but I do want to say I fear or think, is there a possibility, because there's no way they're just doing Becky and Charlotte again. So is there a possibility Rousey's coming back maybe between now and then, and you're going to do a rematch of last year?
See, I've heard multiple different rumors, and I don't know if you've heard them either, but I've heard that there's a possibility that Charlotte's going to go to NXT and challenge for the NXT Women's Championship.
Okay.
Which that's kind of cool. I mean,
right.
To me, if you weren't going to have Shayna Baszler win the fucking Rumble and go on to face Becky, and that be the way you bring her up, then she shouldn't have been in the match.
Mm-hmm. Right.
I mean, that's, yeah, it was cool to see her, but
I heard, and this is the internet is the internet, and we don't know, really. We think we know because we read dirt sheets and stuff, but I heard that Shayna was gonna win, and they made a last-minute decision to put Charlotte over. Some of our comments here are saying rumors are Charlotte versus Rhea Ripley. That would be a good-ass match. I mean, Rhea Ripley's on fire right now.
And it would be an interesting match to see because you've never seen it. Charlotte, I mean, think about it. She's done pretty much everything she can do
right
for right now on on Raw and SmackDown. So maybe the chance is put her over there.
So overall, the match itself, is there anything else in that match that you want to discuss other than the finish? Was there? We talked about Beth. We talked about the finish.
Goddamn, I love Otis.
Oh yeah, that guy. Otis is over with me.
If Mandy Rose fucks him over, which it's wrestling, so she's gonna have fucking nuclear heat.
Well, it's WWE, so Vince McMahon has to make every woman a slut and every man a sap for that slut. So that's probably where it is going. But I'm enjoying what's going on, and yeah, he's been over with me since NXT, and I am absolutely enjoying the hell out of this whole deal.
I love the fact that she gets thrown out, she rolls over, and they're like, "Oh, there she goes," and then they pan around, it's like she's laying on
it was.
And then
his exuberance makes me smile.
And then I don't know how your feelings was on the Santina Morella thing.
I loved it.
I did too.
I like a little sports entertainment,
Everyone's like, "Oh, they took a spot from a woman." It's like at that point, it's number 29. Those people, one, you need to have a buffer between, number 28 and the fact that you're bringing out Shayna Baszler.
Mm-hmm.
But also, it's not like he won the fucking thing.
No. Giving himself the Cobra was great. That was fantastic.
Exactly. He came out, he was like, "Oh, fuck, this isn't what it used to be," and...
Yeah. Classic Santino. I miss him. One of our listeners said, "Hey, Tucky!" But yeah, I mean, I enjoy Otis too. A guy, and Tucker's really good too. I mean, they're a good tag team, and I've been happy with them since they came up to the main roster.
I enjoyed the fact that it seemed like they're kind of giving the push to Bianca Belair.
Mm-hmm.
That was pretty impressive. I mean, if she wasn't going to win the fucking thing, the fact that she has the most eliminations now.
Chris just commented, it's funny that you just mentioned Bianca. He said, "I can't see the hype for Belair. Her dominance was annoying as hell for me to watch." See, Chris, I'm the opposite on her. I am really, really, really digging her right now. She's doing a good job. I mean, I can't hate. She's a good heel. She's a good, like, cocky, bitchy heel. I don't want to say she's as good as Alexa Bliss, but I think she has the potential to be that good. So yeah, I dug it. I thought it was cool, and you're putting over a new star. That's the most important thing. Andrew Palmer says steaks and weights, baby. But go ahead, Kyle. More on Bianca. If you had anything else on her.
No, we're going to get into the men's rumble here shortly, but it was nice this year to see them actually build stars.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they did.
You didn't have Batista come back or fucking John Cena come back and win. They're actually building those stars up.
Mm-hmm. And that's a good thing. Hopefully it stays that way and they don't fuck it up like they have the past few years. So very quickly, the only thing I have to say about Bayley and Lacey Evans is Lacey Evans was super over with me as a heel. I mean, her calling crowds nasty and stuff, that was over with me. I hate her as a face. I don't understand why she's a baby face. She is so miscast in that role.
It is so weird. It's like, don't get me wrong. Great for Bayley to be doing the heel thing and stuff, but damn, she was one of the most over baby faces.
Mm-hmm.
It should be reversed, and then you'd actually have something. Yes,
absolutely. And like I said, I mean, I don't know who digs Lacey Evans as a babyface, but they don't see what she should be. She's just, to me, she's a heel. She's a natural heel, and I think she did a great job. I actually dug her other than when you got into, I mean, I guess the elements of I didn't like any of the elements of Becky and Seth being a couple on TV. Yeah, but I liked the Lacey Evans Becky Lynch feud. I think Lacey did a great job in that. That feud is when she got over with me.
Right.
So yeah, I think she's totally miscast, as is Bayley. I don't know why they ever turned Bayley heel. It's stupid. It's just stupid. I hate to just use simple terms like that. It's stupid.
But it is. But it is. Because you have Bayley, who is a fucking baby face.
Mm-hmm.
And it comes out, and she has the fucking wacky inflatable waving arm tube men, and she gives people hugs, and it's like, go back and watch NXT. Watch her versus Sasha.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know, you'll see just how good of a fucking babyface she can be. But I digress.
Once again, they squander something good. All right, Bray Wyatt and
Ricky Steamboat a fucking heel. It ain't gonna work.
Bray Wyatt, Daniel Bryan, fantastic match.
Thank God they didn't put the red light.
Oh yeah, I was very happy about that. Very happy about that. But I thought this match was great. I thought it was done. I mean,
fuck out of each other.
Yes, they did.
Great to see.
Two of the best doing what they do. I am really enjoying The Fiend as the champion. I don't like that belt, but I'm that guy that bitches about custom belts. So anyway, whatever. I mean, I know he uses the real Universal title when he's Bray Wyatt, and then the other one when he's The Fiend, but I don't know. I don't dig it. But other than that,
if you were gonna do the custom title like that, you could have made it look a little bit cooler, not look fucking like a hunk of plastic that you buy at Walmart.
Well, it's like I told Kendall when I was watching it. I said, I think the belt looks neat, but I don't like it being used as the championship.
Right.
You know, I don't know. But otherwise, great strap match. Mm-hmm. They did actually more than I thought they would. With the current, the way WWE runs its shows now and everything. I thought they did a really good job with it. I actually love the fact that there's a couple times during the match where the Fiend character was a little bit freaked out, like, damn, Daniel Bryan is bringing it tonight.
Yeah. And that's what you want to see. You want to see that heel that is supposedly unstoppable go, oh, fuck. Like,
yeah. No, but the Fiend went over properly, and Daniel Bryan did not look like a toolbox. Chris says it's not a belt; it's a spare Fiend mask they stretched out. Pretty much, that's pretty much what it is. Like kind of a deal. Yeah. But I'd say, like I said, I really enjoyed that match. I thought it was a great championship match. Two of the best doing their thing. I don't have any complaints. No. The right guy went over. The match was done properly. Becky and Asuka. The way they booked.
The bloom is off the rose on Becky.
It is. It is.
I don't want it to be.
I don't either, but she has become just another face in the crowd, in the WWE face in the crowd. Not that these two ladies didn't have an amazing match. It was a really good match. I loved the finish. I thought that was a creative finish with the deal with the mist. But you're right. I mean, it's not her fault. It's not her fault. The beginning of the bloom coming off that rose was just like I mentioned a little bit ago when they did the whole her and Seth as a couple making it public knowledge thing. It took something away from her badass character, Well,
and not even just that, but I gotta say that it was nice not seeing it was nice not seeing the WWE Championship on the line.
Mm-hmm.
At the Rumble. And it's almost like maybe they shouldn't have done that with Becky and Asuka either.
Right.
I understand you want Charlotte Flair or whatever, but if she was going to win anyways, you could have maybe booked Asuka versus Becky at Mania where they would have some time.
Yeah.
I think the problem is when you have all this shit in it, it's like you're going to lose interest eventually. I mean, it's just the way it is. it's like, well, all right, yeah, it's another title match, and we've fucking seen all title matches tonight, basically, and the 2 main events is for a fucking title match. So it's like, that's not special.
Yeah, and part of that goes to, and it's been a problem, I think, for quite some time. You get to the point where, and as much as we hearken back to, and we all love the Attitude Era, or we thought we did at the time, or little elements of it we love still, like Stone Cold, or that era, and the way that they changed the way wrestling is booked, and it kind of, it's the reason we have the problems we have now, because you get to, the Monday Night Wars resulted in a pay-per-view every month. The Monday Night Wars resulted in champions not having long reigns with their titles. The Monday Night War resulted in hotshot booking. The Monday Night War resulted in 20-minute promos at the beginning of every show. The problems that we have now were caused by that, because you let the genie out of the bottle, and I mean, put simply, you let the genie out of the bottle, and now you're paying for it. It's you can't put the genie back in the bottle.
No, imagine this, and I know we're still talking about Rumble, and I don't want to get off topic of that real quick, but the fact is that, well, I don't know if you've heard the news that WWE's cutting their house show.
What's that?
I don't know if you've heard that WWE's cutting their house shows.
Yeah.
Down to, what is it, like 5?
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, that used to be their bread and butter. That's what you work towards.
Right.
Was the house show, was getting people to the arena. And the problem is that there's such an oversaturated market, and now, don't get me wrong, it's great that guys are going to be working less because there's less injuries and stuff, but it should be the other way around.
Right. And it's no longer about putting asses in seats at the arena. It's about putting asses in seats on their couch, I guess.
Yeah, because it's like, well, who the fuck cares if if no one shows up? We can make it look like it's full.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, well, you're just masking the problem.
Right. We're having some technical difficulties, Kyle.
Uh-oh.
For you, I see a black screen, but we're going to keep this conversation going.
Okay.
Probably just some lag or something. It's all good.
Probably.
The people can still hear you, and they can see my amazingly going white beard. But anyway, moving on, the final match of the night, the 30-man Royal Rumble match. Again, kind of working backwards. The guy I wanted to win won it. I said it on the last show we did. Drew Mack won. I'm very happy about that. It's finally time. It's his time. Not
only did he win, but they gave him the biggest fucking rub.
Yes, absolutely.
Having him eliminate, not only did they give him a rub, but they gave Keith Lee a rub. Like, I was a big fan of the fact that Keith Lee stepping in the ring with Brock Lesnar and going kind of toe-to-toe with him, or even Brock Lesnar was like, damn.
Yeah, because this guy.
Exactly. Because it makes the North American title look like it's special now.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's like, goddamn, you're North American champion. Like, he took it to Brock.
And he is Keith. He is one of those guys to me, like we talked about when we did our, top 10, or when we talked about the guys we think are the stars in the future. He was on my list, him and Adam Cole. And I mean, did you know he's 35 years old?
Is he really?
Yes. I did not know. I mean, I knew he had been wrestling for a while, but I did not know he was 35. But I mean, you think about that. That's still, AJ's what, 45? He's still got another good 10 years. He can, and I think he's going to be huge, a huge star. He has all the potential in the world. And he made a big splash in the Rumble. He's, you can tell by listening to the crowd, he's over.
But the fact that we got the Claymore kick, and out goes Lesnar.
Mm-hmm.
And he goes on to eliminate Roman Reigns last. That fucking place coming unglued because they knew what it meant.
And I think that most of the people, like me, were expecting Roman to win. So I popped off my couch when Drew went over. I was pretty happy about that.
I was worried that Cain Velasquez was going to show up and win it.
So was I. When Brock was doing all those eliminations, that's where I thought we were going. I want to explain to our listeners, just so you know, I apologize for Kyle's black screen. We are having, and I've been having internet issues all day. We're having really high winds here where we live today, and I think that's causing some internet issues. So I enjoy you all sticking around and appreciate it. Appreciate you watching. Just me. But yeah, so back to Brock. I liked the beginning of the Rumble and him running through people. And here's why I say that. Because I have a guilty pleasure. I enjoy when WWE trolls wrestling fans.
Mm-hmm.
Because modern wrestling fans are just the worst. No, one of our users says, some of these guys are saying they don't see the black screen, no issues here. So they all get to see a Kyle, I just don't. So it's all
okay.
Good.
Fair enough.
All right. Thank you, guys. I appreciate that.
Like picking my nose or something, or thinking no one can see me. That's good.
I enjoyed it. It's a guilty pleasure of mine. I like, because modern wrestling fans, we called this show We Can't Wrestle because we can't. I never chant "you can't wrestle" at a wrestler because that guy is getting in the ring, whoever it is. It doesn't matter who it is. That person's getting in a ring and doing something I can't do. And if you listen to the show, and you've heard me say it a million times on the show, if you're a regular listener, that chant pisses me off. Because you sit there in your little chair, you paid your ticket, and you're going to tell some guy he can't wrestle. And I know I hate on Baron Corbin or what have you, because I'm a fan. I'm allowed to do that. But I'm never going to yell at Baron Corbin and say, you can't wrestle, because obviously he can wrestle. He just doesn't do the type of wrestling or the type of promos that I enjoy. But I'm not going to say that, And I don't know. I like it. I like it sometimes when WWE trolls modern wrestling fans. Just saying.
It was great and it was perfect because it made the moment when Drew eliminated him mean that much more.
Yes.
You have to have that. It's the beginning, middle, and end of the story.
Mm-hmm.
It was great.
And it also, honestly, even though he eliminated people, it was kind of like those old Rumbles where you would see a guy that didn't normally get to interact with Hulk Hogan, or a guy that didn't normally get to interact with the Ultimate Warrior, get to interact with that big star. You got to see some people interact with Brock Lesnar that normally don't get to interact with a star of that magnitude.
Right.
So I thought that was neat. I thought, I was fine with it.
It was, like I said, yeah, it was fun. Let's bring it up. Let's talk about it. I had heard the rumors. Everybody had heard the rumors that Edge was going to return, but it was one of those things that even if you know it's coming, it's better than you can imagine. The look on his face when he walked out.
Oh man, I teared up.
Oh my god, you could just see the emotion.
Mm-hmm. He was never supposed to be able to wrestle again. It was amazing. It was an amazing moment.
And damn, did he look good.
Yeah.
He had a
I mean, it kind of looks like an old sea captain, like he's been Alaskan ice fisherman. But no, I mean, physically and everything, he looked great. And then he goes in, and I thought, well, his appearance will be short-lived or what have you. He'll do some signature spots, and they'll get him out of there. No, he went in there and wrestled like he would have in 2010 in the Royal Rumble.
And not only that, but the thing I'm most excited for is we're getting Edge versus Orton at WrestleMania.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the beginning of this year, I wouldn't have believed you if you said that, hey, Edge is coming back and he's going to fight Randy Orton.
And did you see he got a sweet deal too?
Oh yeah,
it's like $3 million. It's like $3 million, 3 years. He's only got to work 3 matches a year and make like 15 appearances or something like that. Like good for him.
Exactly.
Good for him.
Because he was being swooned by AEW. They wanted him.
Mm-hmm.
And so, I mean, we're already seeing the competitive.
Right. Absolutely.
Hopefully he's better.
And I'm glad he's back in WWE. You know, Edge is a homegrown WWE guy, and it's nice to see him back home again. And overall, I mean, unless you have any other comments on the Rumble, I mean, we had MVP make an appearance, and then
I mean, he wanted to so his kid could see it. Great, cool, awesome. I'm glad for him.
And he's come out publicly and said his appearance on Raw Monday was his last appearance with WWE, and it is what it is, whatever. But there weren't a lot of other quote unquote surprise entrants.
No, not really.
Which is fine. I mean, sometimes it's like you got 10 guys that are coming back just for the Rumble, so you're taking a lot of the suspense out of it. Narrowing your possible winners down.
Yep. The one thing I do want to talk about was, I don't know who's fucking Cheerios, fucking Mr. Bro fucking pissed in, but did you see that shit with him and Brock?
Yeah.
For Brock, like, hey, you best fucking take my name out of your mouth to quit, because we're never, ever going to work together. It's like, you see Matt Riddle is like,
bro.
From things I've heard, he's not rubbing a lot of people the right way.
No, he's. I've heard he's pretty cocky, and sometimes you just gotta know your place and grow with your push. Don't try to push your push, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
you know, you can get a big head when you're at that level, but don't act like you're at that level when you're not there yet, I guess is what I'm saying.
Chris Jericho, right. You are not.
So that's the Royal Rumble. Now Raw, to me, the really only memorable thing about Raw was the Edge Orton segment. Not a lot to write home about Raw this week. I actually didn't take a lot of notes on it, to be honest with you.
I want to give credit to Orton and Edge to pull off what they pulled off with that chair shot.
Mm-hmm.
Because they made that look fucking violent.
Yes, absolutely.
It looked really good. Like it was one of those things that I even being a wrestling fan and being like, we all know what it is, but still it was just like, oh shit, like, ugh.
I am excited about that match at Mania. Actually, I'm pretty excited about Mania this year.
I am too.
I think it's going to be good. Like I said, I don't know if they are going to be doing that women's triple threat that I think they might be doing the rematch of, but just to see Orton and Edge, would be worth it for me. And then Lesnar and Drew.
Yeah, we walked in this year going, okay, it's going to be fucking Roman versus The Fiend and Cain Velasquez versus Lesnar.
Mm-hmm.
And all of a sudden, after one night, it's like, no, it's not going to be that. Like, it's Lesnar versus Drew. Like, that's huge.
Right. Yeah, absolutely.
We have Edge versus Orton. Like, I'm stoked for Mania.
It's going to be great. And I'm still very, very, I know I'm going back to the Rumble, but like the Lesnar McIntyre match is the most intriguing title match to me in many, many years at WrestleMania.
Yep.
Just because I'm such a McIntyre mark, it's.
I think that needs to be your main event.
Yes, and Drew needs to go over. Put Drew over. I'm
telling you right now, if Drew walks in there, fucking ding, 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 Claymore kick, 1, 2, 3, that fucking roof will go off.
Give Lesnar the Goldberg treatment.
Yeah. Because, I mean, and give it to Lesnar for not being selfish.
Right.
Being a prick about it, so.
So, anything else from Raw?
No, not really.
No, yeah, me neither.
I felt bad for that Raw, though, because it's like, how do you fucking come back from that?
Mm-hmm.
From the Royal Rumble. I mean, it's like, there's no way it can compete.
The biggest chunk of my notes this week, and I don't know what the biggest chunk of your thoughts are this week, But promotion-wise, the biggest chunk of my notes this week are actually NWA notes. Not NWO notes, NWA notes. I don't know if you saw NWA this week.
I haven't had a chance to watch it yet.
Sean Mooney is back.
I did hear Sean Mooney's back.
Yes, Sean Mooney is back, which I'm very excited about. I was always a Sean Mooney. When I was a kid, I always loved Mooney and Lord Alfred. For some reason, I always thought they were really good together. And Sean Mooney was always the guy, that he was the third string, I guess, behind Vince and Gorilla. But I always thought he was good on the call, and he actually did a really good job this week on NWA. The best, and this is the whole business. This is, for me, right now, the whole business. The best heel in wrestling, the best real heel in wrestling right now is Nick Aldis.
Mm-hmm.
Nick Aldis carries himself like a heel champion. He's not trying to get anybody to cheer him. He's not trying to be a cool heel. He walks around with that belt, and he is smug. And I don't want to compare him to Ric Flair, but I'm just going to compare him to Ric Flair. I think that Nick Aldis is as good a heel champion as Ric Flair ever was. He's a different type of champion. Like, his character is different, but he's as good. Oh, go ahead.
Okay. Nick Aldis, I immediately see Harley Race.
And I can see that too. Maybe you're right. Maybe he's more Harley than he is Flair because his promos are more deliberate. And it's not as flashy as Flair.
And he's not like a chicken shit. It's more of like, no, I'm a bad motherfucker, and I will,
Mm-hmm.
You don't want to fuck with me because I will do anything it takes to win.
And it's, he's formed his little group, and that's fine too, because a heel champion like that should have some guys surrounding him, And
yeah, absolutely. I need those guys to bring up.
Mm-hmm. And those are the guys you feed to his opponents while those opponents are working to face him. But yeah, I think he's doing a fantastic job as NWA champion, and I'm really enjoying this feud with him and Marty Scurll.
Yeah.
I think that going back into their roots, talking about their past, they're doing a great job with it. And
I think that's the big thing too with Marty Scurll. It's like everyone thought, like, oh, he's going to AEW, and the fact is he's not. And
I don't know where Ring of Honor got, because he's technically a Ring of Honor guy. He's right. Ring of Honor and NWA are working together, obviously, but I don't know where Ring of Honor even came up with the money to do that, to get, because the last couple of Ring of Honor things that I've even seen, Ring of Honor is essentially dead. I mean, it's, they went to that a couple of weeks ago in the NWA. They went to that Ring of Honor show and did it on location with Aldis having a confrontation with Scurll, and it looked like there were 20 people there. I mean, I've been to indie shows with bigger crowds. So I don't know where Chris says. I personally think of Aldis as a new generation Bockwinkel in how he presents himself. I can see that.
Yep. I can see that just fucking. That's the perfect thing. That deliberate, methodical.
Mm-hmm. And in his character, there's no hesitation. There's no lack of confidence. I am your champion. I am the champion, and no one's going to beat me for this belt. And he's just confident, and he's cocky. And I think he's the best heel in the business right now. Everybody has their favorites. You guys might disagree out there, listeners, viewers, but I give Aldis 10 stars in my book as far as heels in wrestling go right now. Now, one guy in the NWA roster that I'm not digging, and I don't know why, I can't put my finger on it, is they made Ricky Starks the new, they had the tournament for the world television title, and they put the title on Ricky Starks, and they've been pushing this kid since they started their show. So as far as their show goes, I'm not complaining they put the title on him. They're being consistent. They're pushing a guy. They're trying to make a star, and I get that. I just don't see it. I don't see Ricky Starks. I just don't get it. Unless he knows somebody, or Billy Corgan digs him or whatever. I don't know, but
the problem that I see with him is the fact it's like with their world television title. When you have somebody, and I'm not trying to say like, oh, the guy makes the belt makes the guy, but the fact is that when it comes down to world television title, like you need to have it on somebody who means something to build up their prestige. When it's a new guy like this, and somebody coming up from underneath, it's going to take them a long time to get to that point.
Right.
And unfortunately, we don't live in an era where they can work the territories and hone their craft in front of different people. I mean, it's there. It's on YouTube. It's fucking either you succeed or you fail, and there's no in between.
The only issue I have with NWA, we're talking about the TV title, and it made me think of it. I thought about it when I was watching the show this week. They have a 1-hour show, and it's done well. It's done very well. Especially if you're an old school wrestling fan, they do a good job in their presentation of the show. There's a couple of jobber matches, there's some interviews, some angles, and then there's a main event. And I mean, they do a really good job of presenting wrestling as old school, like they promised they would. The only problem I have is, you have an hour-long show. You have a relatively small roster. They have too many titles. You got the NWA World Champion. You got the Tag Team Champions. You got the TV Champion. You got the National Champion. I mean, they got the Women's Champion. And every wrestling company now has too many championships. But for them having an hour show and their presentation, their roster size, they have too many belts. They should have 3 belts. They should have a mid-card title, a world title, and a tag team title. And I know every wrestling company has to have a woman's title now, too. But anyway, that's really my only problem with NWA.
I would like it, what they should do, and they may not, but it's because I don't know if they're going to be yet to have pay-per-views or how they're doing their things, but If I was running NWA, I would be like, look, you know what? Every month we're going to have the big show.
Mm-hmm.
Here is the thing where it's, like our pay-per-view, but it's going to be on, and it's going to be an hour and a half instead of an hour. They
have another pay-per-view coming up in February, which is, they're going to have the Aldous Skrull match, which I'm very interested in and will be watching. I think that they would benefit because they had a pay-per-view in December. Now they're having one in February. So it looks like maybe they're doing every other month. I don't know yet. I don't know for sure because this is only the second pay-per-view. But I think they would benefit from, like you said, having a big show once a month. But I think they would benefit from having 6 pay-per-views a year. And then in the down months, I don't know that they can't call it this because WWE obviously owns the trademark, have a Clash of Champions. I don't know what you call that. You can come up with another name, but I think that they could benefit from that. Say because their show's broadcast on YouTube anyway. So say once a month.
Fucking Super Brawl, because apparently it doesn't matter anymore what those WCW fucking trademark names are because
AEW. Yeah, AEW used Bash at the Beach.
So,
and like Chris says, Crockett Cup is going to be on the pay-per-view as well, the Crockett Cup tournament. I see so much potential in the NWA. They're doing a good job. Obviously, like any promotion, they have their ups, they have their downs, they have things on the show where I'm like, and it is what it is. There's something for everybody, but
but what I was getting to is I would do what ECW did with their TV title.
Mm-hmm.
Where they make it the fucking showcase, like on their TV shows, where whoever's champion's defending it all the time, where they make it fucking special.
Right.
Because that way you don't have to worry about putting all the thing on Nick as a world champion. I mean, you could save him for the special stuff.
Yeah, and that's the way, to me, the champion should be. Now, if you do house shows, if you do house shows, if you're gonna do the loop, to me, your champion should be on every show. But as far as television goes, he should be on every show, but he shouldn't be in a match on every show. Nope. Which they're doing a good job with that too. You know, he's mainly on the shows. He's doing promos. He's doing vignettes. He's out there with his guys who have the match. Like I said, they're booking him like a good heel champion, and to me, that's a good thing, as DDP would say, with his beef jerky looking ass. He looks like walking beef jerky now. Diamond Dallas Page.
Can we? This may be popular, but fucking goddamn, I heard that Hulk Hogan wants to have another match.
I mean,
and he wants to fight Sting in Saudi Arabia. Can we just not do this? Can we not?
Oh man, that's rough. That'd be rough.
Can we just not do that? Can we just not have?
To me, the only way Hogan should ever have another match is it has to be a tag team kind of deal. You know what I mean? It has to be something where he teams with a younger guy against somebody and another younger guy, and Hogan and whoever his enemy is or whatever, they can get in, do their signature spots, but most of the match has to be those other guys, because I don't want to watch. How old is he now? I don't even know how old Hogan is now, but I was a Hulkamaniac as a little dude, and I love Hollywood Hulk Hogan. And I marked out when he came back in 2002. But it is time to just stay away, Hulkster.
And you know what? I'm fine with him coming out and cutting a promo and saying hi to everybody.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's fine. Like I'm fine with it. I'm fine with WWF used to do it right. Where like you would have like Gene LaBelle in the crowd, or they would show up as, you know, like a special guest.
Mm-hmm.
And they acknowledge these guys. But it's like, no, like, that's the one thing you can say about Vince McMahon in 1995 is at least when he went with the new generation, he went with the new generation.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, his hand was kind of forced, but yeah, you're right. I mean, he didn't get, I'm trying to think of the legends. It was funny during that time because they would refer to the legends, but they never referred to Hogan or Savage. They like jumped backwards, and it's like the legendary Ivan Putski. You know, they had to ignore the 80s because all those guys were gone. So all of a sudden now the 70s are really important again.
No, they're fucking or they're going at the Huckster and the Nacho. God damn.
But we're gonna celebrate Ivan Putski, who quite honestly has never had a match I've seen that I enjoyed.
Yeah. Well.
Chris says, does Hulk want the match or does the oil want the match?
I'm gonna have to go with the oil. I mean, unless he didn't get paid real well from that Gawker fucking trial, I would think that he'd be set up good.
Mm-hmm. He's got his beach shop, brother.
Yeah.
And his autographs aren't cheap either. I mean, when I got his autograph, I got it for free because I was at a manager's conference and he was promoting his games, so he had to give me an autograph for free. Actually, I want to say this. I just want to say this really quick. I'm not dissing him because when I interacted with Hogan, even though he had person upon person in line, he spent 5 to 7 minutes talking to me. He didn't rush me along. He listened to my stupid little "I was a Hulkamaniac" story, which I'm sure he hears a million times. He was really cool as far as meeting a guy. So I'm not. But what I'm saying is he's obviously making good money because I read this post from somebody I know on Facebook. They were down there. His beach shop is in Florida, right? Is it in Tampa?
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
Well, anyway, they were there, and he happened to be in his store. They wanted a picture and an autograph. $100, brother. I mean, you're in your store, they're buying your shit. You can't give them a picture? You know what I mean? Damn. So, I mean, obviously, he's making money somewhere.
The reason why he was so nice to you and everybody else at that manager conference because he knew his game was fucking garbage.
Oh, yeah, it was that. What was that fucking thing? It was a Connect game. Oh, God, it was terrible. Like,
he knew it was garbage.
It was terrible.
Fuck, it's like Pasta Mania.
I got a free copy and threw it away. It was terrible. Actually, I think I traded it in for $2 or something, you know?
They buried those motherfuckers out in the
They buried out
with the ET cartridges.
I was about to say with the ET game.
God damn.
Chris says, remember though, that oil money brought Sean out of retirement. Chris, I never watched that pay-per-view because fucking Sean retired in 2010. That's that. I never saw that match. I never watched that pay-per-view. I don't want to see
Shawn Michaels.
I don't want to see him wrestle again. You know, his retirement was final to me, and that's it. As far as the Hulk Hogan shop, one of our listeners says there's two, one in Orlando and one in Tampa. I think the story I saw was at the one in Tampa. Anything else we want to discuss? We've got about 10 minutes left. We're going to do the drawing.
The only thing that I want to bring up is this TNA reunion thing that Impact's doing.
I didn't even hear about that.
They're doing it's like a special where it's Impact Wrestling presents Total Nonstop Action. Like Steiner's coming back, and they're trying to get all the guys that they can from like TNA, like when it first started and stuff. They kind of come back and do a reunion show.
Like kind of like the Raw reunion deal. Okay.
Yeah. So that's kind of fun.
I mean, if they can get oh fuck. What was that midget's name that was on some of the first the midget with the foul mouth. I can't remember his name, but he was on some of the first Impacts. Get Ken Shamrock. Get Ken Shamrock to show up.
Shamrock is supposed to be there. Petey Williams is supposed to be there.
Chris says Motor City Machine Guns will be there. Really? That's good. I like that. I have some notes about the other shows of the week. I don't really think honestly, I don't think there's a lot to go over other than Jon Moxley looks like a pirate. I didn't understand why Taz wasn't on AEW.
Can I say one thing real quick before we do about AEW? Can we start a petition? Can we do something here where we stop trying to force shit to happen? Like on the Jericho Cruise, everyone sang along to Judas because the music cut out, and that was a cool moment.
Mm-hmm.
Like this week, they tried to intentionally cut it off so the crowd would sing it.
Right.
Can we stop that? Like, stop trying to force fucking things to happen. Just let it happen organically.
And honestly, the only two things in the AEW show that I really dig right now are I made fun of Moxley because he looks like the pirate, but that's the point. He's got the eye patch. I dig the Moxley Jericho feud. I dig the Cody MJF feud. That's it. Yeah. Other than that, I can leave most of that show. It's jumped the shark already. It's jumped the shark already. I had so much hope for it, and I don't even want to. A lot of times I don't even want to talk about it on the show because I don't want to sound like I'm just bitching about AEW all the time, because I'm not. When I watch the show, I zone out. I do other things. It doesn't keep my interest. I don't want, for the longest time, people complained that on Raw, they would have these long-ass matches that went through many commercial breaks. That was one of the things people were bitching about Raw. It's 3 hours long, and they have really long matches that go through multiple commercial breaks. And then you watch AEW, and why is it okay for them to do it? Because every match is long and goes through a commercial break. Even a shitty women's match.
I guarantee you, if AEW had done what they did with fucking Santina Marella, everyone would think it's the greatest fucking thing in the world. But because WWE did it, oh wow, that's
we're gonna shit on it.
Evolution. Yeah,
you're right. Well, we have 5 minutes left in the show, and I want to thank everybody for joining us on Super Bowl Sunday. Hope you enjoyed the game. Hope you enjoyed the show, because we're going to be doing this every Sunday night. and it is on, if you're watching on Facebook, thank you. You can also watch it on the YouTube page. We are streaming to the Facebook group and the YouTube page at the same time. If you haven't subscribed to the YouTube page, what the fuck are you waiting for? It takes 2 seconds. Go to the We Can't Wrestle Podcast YouTube page, click subscribe, click the little bell up at the top of the screen to start getting notifications. I'm going to start archiving the old shows on there. We may even do some exclusive shows for the YouTube page, and we're definitely going to have We Can't Wrestle live every week on the YouTube page. Now, speaking of which, some of you participated in a drawing that I put up this week, a contest to join the YouTube page. All you had to do is screenshot me your subscription, that you subscribe to the page, and Kyle, I think we have some pretty good options here. We had Andrew Palmer had commented that the Hangman stuff is dumb in AEW, and you're right. I like Adam Page, but you're right. What they're doing with him is dumb. But speaking of Hangman, he's one of the options. A little micro brawler of the Hangman.
There you go.
How about old school, for those old school fans or people that maybe don't collect figures? I got a fuck ton of magazines too. How about this WWF program with Ted DiBiase on the cover from the 80s? You know, I know you'll like it. Or a pretty good condition Hasbro Hulk Hogan.
Oh, shit.
So here we go. We got Page, we got Hogan, we got Dollar Man, and we're going to do the drawing right now, announce the winner, and then after the show I'll get with the winner and see what you're choosing, get your Addy.
And you know what? Believe it or not,
go ahead, Kyle.
If you win, that Hulk Hogan figure is not going to charge you $100 to take a picture.
Brother, Nate's not going to charge you nothing except you subscribe to my YouTube page. We do stuff old school. You know, a lot of people on the internet now, like they use randomizers and stuff to do drawings. We do it really old school here. I have pieces of paper. Pieces of paper. Not only are they pieces of paper, but they are in a Han Solo mug from 1983. There you go.
Shit, look at
from Nate that collects every stupid thing that he finds. All right, so Han Solo is going to be lucky for somebody here. Let's do our drawing, get our winner, see who's going to get their option to win. It is Bobby Anders. Bobby Anders, congratulations. I will message you or you message me on Facebook, brother. Thank you for listening to the show. Thank you for subscribing to the YouTube. I will get your choice. And that being said, Kyle, why don't you, we got 2.5 minutes here. Go ahead and say your goodbyes to our listeners and we'll sign off.
Real quick, for anybody who's watching, if you didn't win your choice tonight, another reason to join the Facebook page, join the YouTube, is that every so often, Mr. Nate over here will go live.
Gets a little drunk.
Gets a little drunk and gives away some good shit. Like the We Can't Shuffle card game.
And thank you, Andrew Palmer, for naming that game. I appreciate that. I told him I'm going to put him on the payroll. But Kyle knows how much you make being on the payroll here.
Yeah,
you get my company. That's what you get.
and your wife's delicious food.
Yes. But yeah, guys, thank you, each and every one of you, for supporting the show. We appreciate it. There will be a new We Can't Wrestle podcast later this week. We will be live again next Sunday. And don't forget to check out the Asylum podcast. Have you got a chance to check that out, Kyle?
Yes. And actually, matter of fact, Friday, when you asked if I was patting myself on the back, I was talking about the Asylum podcast being a damn good podcast.
All right. So it is good. I love it. It's about collecting mostly, and those guys are they're big collectors like me, but bigger collectors than me. So Chris says, wait, there's a payroll. No. Andrew says, congrats, winner. Yes, congrats, Bobby Anders. Good show, guys. One of the hosts of the show of the Asylum must be messaging. He didn't give permissions, though, because it says thank you, Kyle. So either David, Magic, or Nick Francis are putting you over there, Kyle. So they say thank you. And check out the Asylum podcast as well. We're going to be recording one of those tomorrow night.
And I got to put over the Motley Soup.
Yes, and the Molly Soup podcast. I'll get divorced if I don't put that over too. Thank you for saving my marriage again, Kyle.
Always.
All right, everybody. Thank you for joining us live here on Facebook and YouTube, and we will see you next week with We Can't Wrestle Live. We're signing off right now.